Hi folks, my name is Sydney and I'm the student recruiter for the College of Health Sciences. Today we're going to go over how the registration process works, as well as some next steps after you've been admitted to your program. First, I'd like to start with a land acknowledgement. I'm presenting to you today from Edmonton, Alberta, which is home to the University of Alberta. The University of Alberta acknowledges that we are located on Treaty 6 territory and respects the histories, languages, and cultures of First Nations, Métis, Inuit, and all First Peoples of Canada, whose presence continues to enrich our vibrant community. Today, we'll be going over how to plan your degree and where to find your program requirements, as well as some tips and tricks for building your schedule in the My Schedule Builder tool. I will then give you a bit of understanding of My Schedule Builder, but we do have many tutorial videos available on how to navigate My Schedule Builder and Bear Tracks, so I suggest you check those out at uab.ca/reg101 if you're feeling lost about how to use the platform. Everything we'll be going over today is in our Registration 101 website and on our online KSR registration modules, so please don't stress about taking notes throughout the presentation. We will start with a bit of a workshop and presentation on next steps and planning your degree, and then some tips and tricks on building your schedule. And then I'll show you a quick demonstration of the different features of My Schedule Builder. Most degrees are going to require 120 units and can be completed within 4 years. Most classes are 3 units and will run for 1 semester. This is either from September to December or January to April. And there are some full year courses available as well that are 6 credits and will run from September all the way through to April. To graduate in 4 years, that means you'll be taking 15 units per semester, about 5 classes, for a total of 30 units in a year or 10 courses. You can take a reduced course load, and 3, 4, or 5 courses a semester will still be considered full-time, but this will extend the length of your degree. This can be a good idea for students as taking 5 classes can be pretty heavy. However, and I'll mention this again later, if you're interested in specific professional programs, please note that some do require you to be in full 5 classes per semester in order to be eligible to apply, so make sure that you check out their websites before. You'll notice that there are no spring or summer terms in this diagram, and that's because they are not required, but you can still take courses during these terms if you wish. There are different class types in university, so let's match the definition of each of these to help clarify the difference. When a professor speaks about a various topic, this is called a lecture. All courses are going to have a lecture component where students take notes and are learning the bulk of their course content from. Class sizes range from 30 seats to 300 and typically get smaller in higher years. Don't panic about being in a class of 300. You'll be sitting there quietly taking notes as the professor talks for about an hour or an hour and a half, and you won't be asked to get up in front of the class much. The hands-on component of a course would be called a lecture. This is where you get to apply the knowledge you've learned during the lecture portion. Depending on the course, this might be an anatomy lab or in the 400 level of real cadaver lab, or it can be exercise and fitness testing or learning how to treat injuries. Labs will take up 1 to 3 hour time block and have around 20 seats depending on the course. Not all courses will have a lab component. And the last class type that is based on discussion, project work, or shared assignments is a seminar. Most courses don't have a seminar, and if they do, they usually have 30 to 50 seats. How do you know if a course has one of these components? If you're browsing the course catalog, you might see 3 numbers separated by dashes beside each course, such as 3-0-3. These correspond to approved class times. In this example, 3-0-3 means that you will have 3 hours per week of lecture, 0 hours per week of seminars, and 3 hours per week of lab. What if it says 3-0-0? What would that mean? That would mean that you would only have 3 hours per lecture per week, no seminar, and no lab. When it comes to degree requirements, they will vary per program. And there's 2 main links that we recommend that you star or favorite in your web browser. These are the calendar, where you will find all of your requirements for your program, and the course catalog, where you'll be able to see all courses offered at the U of A. So what about those of you who are currently thinking about applying to a professional program later on? The professional programs listed here all require some form of pre-professional study before you can apply to them, whether that be 1 to 2 years of specific courses or a full 4-year degree. You can refer to the professional program tip sheets at the bottom of uab.ca/reg101, and this will give you a place to start so that you know what courses you should be registering in while you're still in your Faculty of KSR program, and whether it's required to have a full course load. The tip sheets will also show you GPA requirements and additional admissions requirements. This could be letters of intent, reference letters, specialized test scores, or others. Law and medicine require a full 4-year degree to be completed first, but with no specific courses and no specific degree types. So take your first degree in a program that truly interests you. For other professional programs that require 1 to 2 years of pre-professional courses, you want to try and follow both the professional program requirements and your current program requirements. Doing this acts as a backup plan in the event that you are not accepted to the professional program on the first try. Most of these programs also have English course as a requirement. For those of you who are trying to get into a program that only requires 1 or 2 years of pre-professional study, I would recommend trying to prioritize taking English as part of your first year. Now we're going to move on to some course tips on creating a balanced schedule and how to choose the right courses. So in order to create a balanced schedule, make sure that you are creating a balance of labs and lectures, not to overload yourself. We recommend 2 to 3 labs per term so that you can manage lab assignments and exams in addition to your regular coursework. Labs are going to start during the second week of classes, and this will be confirmed when you receive your course syllabus from your instructor in August. Do not register in a course if you don't have the prerequisite. Students without appropriate prerequisites will be removed from a course, so make sure to read the course description before you register. A common example of this for our 2 KIN programs is that KIN 101 is a requirement for KIN 200, and so you wouldn't be able to register in KIN 200 until you've registered in KIN 101. Some courses will inform you of a co-requisite. This must be taken before or at the same time. Many courses are also only offered during 1 semester, so keep an eye on when courses are being offered to remain on track in your program. So, as I said, creating a balanced schedule is really important. Some classes are going to have more than 1 section. As you can see here, this human anatomy class has multiple lecture or lab sections. And you can use a feature called My Personal Time on the My Schedule Builder app to help create a schedule that fits around any outside conflicts. When you're in the My Schedule Builder tool, you can click and drag on times where you may have other commitments, or even select a different option like mornings only or afternoons only to try and create a schedule that works best for you. An open option is a course from any faculty, so all students will have open options throughout their degree, and this can be a course within the Faculty of KSR or outside. For our BKIN specific students, major requirements are requirements that go along with your major. Students will generally start working on these in their 3rd year, and in order to see exactly what courses you're going to be required in your major, refer to your program guide, which can be found on our Registration 101 website, or in the calendar as well. If you would like to change your major at any point during your degree, this can be done by contacting a faculty advisor for a Google form, and it can be done as far into your degree as you would like, just with the note that the later in your degree you change your major, it could extend your program length. In order to change up your schedule, there are massive open online courses. These are online and self-paced, and some of them you can even take for credit towards your degree. This will not be available until after September when your program officially begins. KSR offers 1 massive open online class that is Mountains 101, which is also offered as INTD 280 or Interdisciplinary Studies 280, the Mountain World. For AP and IB students, if you achieve a final grade of 4 or higher in AP or 6 or higher in IB, you will be automatically granted transfer credit for that course. This will either be for a specific course, such as Math 134, or an unspecified 100 level class. Example, any math class at the 100 level. This means that you have the option to not take that course in university, and we do have a list of eligible courses, and that can be found at uab.ca/AP or /IB. If you're unsure whether you will score high enough to earn the credit, add the class to your schedule. The results of your transfer credits will not be posted to BearTrax until later in the summer, so once you know for sure that you have earned the transfer credit, you can then remove the class from your schedule and add something else. You will not be assigned a specific letter grade on your transcripts for these courses, but will see that you received transfer credit. While we encourage students to retain the transfer credit they have earned, you do have the option to decline it. More information on how to decline the credits can be found at the provided links. And some questions to ask yourself about whether or not you should accept or decline it is, if you decline the transfer credit and took the course again at the U of A, how likely are you to get an A? Or if you accept the credit and don't need to take that class, do you want to leave that slot open in your schedule to have a lighter course load to fill it, or fill it with an interesting option course or even a higher level course? Accepting credits would mean that your overall degree would cost you less, since you wouldn't need to pay tuition on courses you already received credit for. The choice is completely up to you, though. All right, so on to building your class timetable. It's important to ask yourself a couple of questions. So have we looked at the prerequisites? By enrolling in these classes in your first year, it means that you can go right into higher level courses next year. And by following your year one course list, this shouldn't be a problem. Another question would be, which classes have the fewest offerings or fewest seats and will fill up quickly? These are classes that are good to fill up, enroll in first, and build the rest of your schedule around them. Do you need to allow yourself time to commute to campus, or are you driving and want to avoid the rush hour? If so, you may want to avoid 8 a.m. classes. Are you a morning person, or do you often hit the snooze button? An 8 a.m. class means an 8 a.m. midterm. Personally, I preferred mid-morning classes so that I could finish my day sooner. You will also want to make sure that you're registering for classes at the right campus. So any course starting with AU is only offered at our Augustana campus in Camrose. Bear Tracks will likely restrict you from registering in those since you're not in Augustana program, but just beware. And then one other additional detail is to check the language of instruction. So some of the courses may be offered in French, and you'll notice that they might look like they're spelled incorrectly, or the class notes are all in French. You can't read the class notes, that might not be the best class for you. One last planning tool is to think about what buildings your classes are in. There's always going to be a 10-minute break between classes so that you can get from one to the next on time. So don't worry if you have back-to-back classes in different buildings. If the buildings are close to each other, you even might have time to grab coffee between class. I know this map looks really small and you might not be able to read the buildings. I just wanted you to see the whole campus for context so that I can give you an example. One example that we can think of that wouldn't be ideal to have right back to back is if you have classes in the biological sciences building at the top star and a class right after in the echo building or medical sciences building at the bottom star. This is about a 15-minute walk, which would make you late for an exam if you have one. But if you have a bigger time gap between them, then that's no problem. This isn't generally a concern for our KSR classes, but depending on your preferred options courses, it could be something to keep an eye on. The majority of your classes will be in Van Vliet, ECA, and CSIS with a few other outliers as well. Now that you know some great tips and tricks on building your timetable, let's show you how to register in courses. So to find which courses you're required to take, please consult the university calendar, and I will help you with this following the presentation. By now, you're familiar with the Launchpad and our admission system. However, for the course registration, you'll be using Bear Tracks and My Schedule Builder. Bear Tracks is the online portal which gives you access to almost everything involved in your university career. My Schedule Builder is our new registration software where you can search for classes, build and plan a timetable, and enroll in classes. You can also add, drop, or swap classes in both Bear Tracks and My Schedule Builder. And in Bear Tracks alone, you can check your grades, pay your tuition, and more. To get access to this, you'll be using your CCID and password and visit uab.ca/beartracks. It's important to understand that in My Schedule Builder, you'll be able to build and save your preferred schedules, validate your schedule to make sure you are eligible to register in all of your classes, and enroll or register in your classes. You will also be able to save draft timetables of all of the class times that you want for that semester, but you are not yet enrolled in those classes if it's in your favorites. After adding all of your courses to the schedule builder, you can then click to the validate button, and validating ensures that you have the appropriate prerequisites and that classes don't overlap with another class in your shopping cart. Once your enrollment date comes, which for most students was April 4th, you must then go into your shopping cart or My Schedule Builder favorites and click the enroll button for each class. Once you are enrolled, only then do you have an official seat in the class. Today, you can just build a draft timetable, but when you go to register your courses, you're going to want to register for both fall and winter semester. Okay, to log into BearTracks, you're going to visit the website uab.ca/BearTracks and select Single Sign-On. At this point, you will enter your CCID and your password. And then it'll bring you to your BearTracks homepage, which will look similar to what is on the slide. All the tools we will be using can be found in the My Schedule Builder section in the top row. For those of you who currently have 2 offers to different programs and would like to swap and accept your second choice program, you can do this in BearTracks by completing the following steps. You will go to the sidebar on the left-hand side of the homepage and select Manage Classes and Change Programs. You're going to choose your new program, and then if you've already registered for classes, drop all of the classes you've been registered for that previous program, and then you'll just need to re-register in courses for your new program. So once we get into the My Schedule Builder, you're going to see on the left-hand side is our search section. So you can search for classes in the search bar or click the advanced search where you'll be able to narrow it down by faculty or by course type, XYZ. Remember to please check for prerequisites or course remarks for each class that you're trying to enroll in. So you'll be able to see these both in the left-hand side of the screen, where you're going to have all of your courses selected, as well as in the course legend. So for this example here, we can see that we have a prerequisite of KIN 101, and requirements are that KIN 103 prerequisites, so KIN 101, and that the class is only open to students in our BKIN, BSc KIN, and combined BKIN BEd programs. You're also going to see other information about what campus. When it says main campus, that is referring to our North Campus, and the classes available. So in this case, there's 1 course section available. In the course legend, you can see also where it's offered. So this one says Edmonton Clinical Health Academy, which is called ECHA. And you'll also be able to see the class remarks. If you're searching for a single class in the Manage Classes section of BearTracks, you will be able to see this information in the Notes section. So some courses are going to be restricted to specific years of study, program type, or if the course is required to graduate or not. Once you search for courses, if they have a blue check mark, they will be in your draft schedule, but if they are not selected, they will not be included. So make sure that all the classes you want in your draft schedule have been checked off. This is what your schedule then will maybe look like. So I have selected all of my courses from the left-hand search tool. There's my course legend, which I can turn on or off, and then my draft schedule. In this state, I have not favorited, validated, or enrolled in any of my classes. But you'll be able to see a couple different things like different results for what types of schedules you could have. So this will show you all the different permutations of schedules available, as well as some different tips, different ways to sort by schedules, and then if you want to put that classes are full or not. So saving a few versions of your schedule is very helpful come registration time, so that if classes are full by the time you want to register in them, you have a few different varieties. You'll also be able to use this time to use the personal times by either going down to the add personal times or by, like I said earlier, just selecting different times to gray out in the schedule. From here, we can then favorite, validate, and enroll. So in order to validate our schedule, we are going to go below our schedule mockup. There will be a Get This Schedule button. We're going to click that and it's going to bring us to this course cart. We're going to add to cart all of the classes we want to validate, and then we're hit Do Actions. We haven't yet validated, but we're now adding all of these classes to our enrollment course cart. Once you're done, you can validate enrollment course cart by going back to that mock schedule, and then you'll see this screen here. You'll either get a restrictions are not met or an error code, or okay to add. If it's okay to add, you have not registered in it yet, but it has now been validated. So you will be allowed to register in that class. Once we have validated our course and we have met our enrollment date, so that April 4th for most students, we can then go back into our favorited schedules and hit the Get the Schedule button again. You'll notice that the schedule button is along the same row as the validate and get the schedule button. In order to get the schedule to enroll in them, you'll go through and in your course cart, you're going to hit checkout or enroll for all of your classes. And only once it says that this class has been added to your schedule are you registered in that class. So then we'd have our mock schedule that we were registered in. So some final reminders, now that we have a bit better of an idea of how to use My Schedule Builder, is that April 4th was the registration enrollment date for most of our new students. To double check your enrollment date, if you have a different than April 4th day, you can just go into Bear Tracks and manage classes and it'll show you your enrollment date. April 30th is the deadline to apply for a guaranteed spot in residence, which you can do by going to uab.ca/residence. And then we have our outstanding document deadlines. For transfer students, it's June 15th. And for high school students, it's August 1st. This is a really important deadline as all final and official transcripts and any other required documents must be submitted by these dates. August 31st through September 2nd is our new undergraduate student orientation, so very exciting few days. And then September 3rd is your first day of classes. September 6th is what's known as the add drop deadline. So this will be the first 2 weeks of courses per every term is the add drop period. During this time, you can add or drop classes from your schedule without any penalties to you, either monetary or by like losing it in class time. So it allows you to help kind of test drive your schedule and find a schedule that works for you. This is really great if courses have already filled. And then that way, during this time, people are changing their schedule so frequently that you'll be able to maybe add classes when seats become available. We are so excited that you have taken this next step to becoming a U of A student, and we are really excited that you'll be joining our community this fall. No matter where you study, you'll be part of a friendly, diverse, and extremely fun student body. If you have any further questions, please feel free to contact us. You can connect with us via our email at the bottom of the screen, book virtual advising sessions, or visit our Registration 101 modules at uab.ca/reg101. Or if you'd like more information about KSR specifically, we have the website there as well. Thank you so much and have a great day.